I've worked a lot with dissociation and I have personal experiences with it as well. And I was thinking, okay, who's going to watch this video? Is it someone who has the experience of feeling numb, feeling spaced out, zoned out, frozen, shut down? Someone who's experienced the world as unreal or dreamlike, someone who maybe feels separated from their own body or feels even a separation within their personality. Like, who is going to watch this and what would be most helpful for them? And so I thought I'd share, what I think has helped me the most to understand about dissociation. And hopefully some of this will be helpful for you. So one of the things that I like to think of with dissociation is I conceptualize it as like in terms of a circle. And I know this sounds silly, but let's just pretend that this is my sense of self. And I like to, or like my inner world, okay? And I like to imagine a nice boundary around all the way around the circle. And this kind of like, to me, it represents having a boundary between my inner world, the outer world, being able to differentiate my internal reality from the external reality, differentiate myself from other people, have that awareness of being inside my body as well, my relationship to my body, and then kind of like all my thoughts, feelings, dreams, images, memories of the past, thoughts of the future, experience of the present, that all of that has to kind of be digested in here. And that, to me, dissociation happens when there's this like fragmentation in the boundary. That's what like my own experience of it felt like, is that it felt like this kind of the boundaries weakening and things kind of like spilling out, right? Or things kind of getting mixed up. So this could look like time distortion, right? Where like you kind of lose time. You're kind of like, whoa, what just happened to the last, couple minutes or hour? Or for some people, this is like activities happen and they're like, what happened? Like, who made dinner, right? I wasn't there for making dinner. Or this could look like just really dwelling in the past versus being aware of the present moment at all, or being kind of preoccupied with the future as well. And it can also look like having this, like these interruptions, right? So it's like, if I think about this as being myself and there's like the past is in one part of it, like this past awareness, I don't want the past to take over, right? I don't want to lose my awareness of the present moment. And I also don't want that with the future, right? I want to have space for the present moment. I want to have also like a balance internally between my emotions, my thoughts, my body sensations, my behaviors. I want to have some kind of space to make sense of things, to sort things out. And I think sometimes with dissociation, it is connected with trauma, right? And a lot of people who have been through trauma or have been under, some very severe stress will experience will experience dissociation or have experienced dissociation. It's a normal thing that our brains do. Our brains know how to dissociate, right? It's like we are not making up dissociation. They can actually trigger dissociative states in animals in research studies and study, dissociation and the brain. So I just wanted to say that because for a long time, there's been a lot of stigma around dissociation. And I just think it's good to emphasize that it is a brain behavior and it has a function, it has a purpose, and we can be curious about that purpose, curious about that function. And, through therapy, we can come to understand, what function is it serving for me? How does it show up for me? Because everybody's different, right? Is this dissociation? What is this that I'm experiencing? And we can also explore what helps us cope with it. And I've thought a lot about different images that kind of help me with dissociation. And one of the things that I think is helpful is creating bridges. And because sometimes when I talk about integration, it can be really triggering because integration is that whole, right? Integration is that kind of unified, there's dialogue, there's communication, there's collaboration, there's balance between all these different, sensory inputs and all these different things that our brain does. We're complex people, right? It's kind of incredible. We can have a stomach ache. We can be solving a math problem. We can be walking down the street. We can do all these things at the same time, right? And so our brains are capable of putting all this stuff together and having this sense of like who we are and what we're doing, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. But to me, it's like sometimes it's helpful to think about, where are we, right? Like, are we crossing the bridge into the past? Are we crossing the bridge into the future? Are we staying in the present moment? Where are we? And like, how do we get back? Because often with dissociation, I find that it can be hard to stay in that present moment in a safe way, to experience safety in the present, or to experience safety in our body, or, to experience safety like in communication with the different parts of ourselves. And so that is often a big part of work with dissociation. And my understanding of it is working on finding safety, and really understanding these motions, right? Like when there is this interruption, when there is some kind of fragmentation, and how do we navigate that in a way that is safe and nurturing and supportive of ourselves, versus like increasing shame or increasing pain, or, kind of more of a problem. And, it can look different for everybody, but I just wanted to say that, it is possible for us to, recover from dissociation and to make progress with these kinds of symptoms. And I think there's more and more like books published on dissociation. More and more people are talking about it. One of the things that's really common is using grounding strategies. Another one is, it's orienting to safety in the present moment. I did not create that. But basically the grounding is using your sensory, things like touch, smell, taste, these different sensory ways of experiencing the world, and just really paying attention to them to kind of come into the present moment, to kind of come into the body. But we also have to be ready to be in the body. And I think that's where therapy comes in, is working towards that readiness and being okay with what we're not ready for. And acknowledging where that is, that like reluctance, or that need to protect ourselves still in a very certain way. Because I think sometimes it's like, here's the solution, but we're not ready for the solution. So let's just be kind of gentle with ourselves and really think about what's the function, how can we meet that purpose? Like, is there another way we can protect ourselves, another way that we can feel safe, and work with that. Therapy is really good for kind of like sorting through what do we need, and what are some of the ways that we can create that for ourselves? How can we meet those needs? Also orienting to like the present moment safety is something that I find really helpful. It can be as simple as like, look around yourself, notice all of the things in your surroundings, notice how likely it is that you are safe in this moment. I mean, of course, if you're not safe in that moment, objectively, like taking steps to address that. But oftentimes for people who have been through trauma, it's one of the parts of the recovery process is determining like what is safe in the present moment, and allowing ourselves to experience that safety, and allowing ourselves to rest, right? Because it's not healthy to constantly be in a state of feeling like we're in danger. That really wears on our nervous system and our bodies. So it's something that we can kind of work towards in therapy. And I just wanted to provide that kind of encouragement for anyone who is feeling like alone with dissociation, or has wanted to learn more, maybe feels stuck, or, therapy is a great way to do it. I hope this video was helpful for you. Of course, like it's not meant to replace therapy in any way, but yeah, I just wanted to share, it's been a part of my own recovery journey, kind of navigating it. And I think it's good to talk about it and to reduce the stigma, because it also helps people learn like what to look for and how to work through it. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please feel free to like or share it, or to subscribe. Thank you for watching.